Two people face the exact same problem. One freezes. The other sees the answer almost instantly, like the room slowed down just for them. Same information, same pressure, so why does one mind crack while the other gets sharper? The difference isn't talent, and it isn't luck. It's the hidden tools that top performers build inside their heads, tools that change how fast and clearly they think when everything is on the line. These tools have names, and once a person learns them, they can never unsee how their own mind works. Start with the most important discovery about how thinking actually happens. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman won the Nobel Prize for an idea he explained in his book Thinking, Fast and Slow. The human mind runs onto systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, and effortless, the part that jumps to conclusions before a person even notices they're thinking. System 2 is slow, careful, and tiring, the part that does hard math or weighs a decision. Most people live almost entirely in System 1. It feels like thinking, but it's really just reacting. System 1 is fast because it takes shortcuts, and those shortcuts are where mistakes hide. Under stress, the problem gets worse because a racing heart and a ticking clock push the mind toward the fast answer. Exactly when the slow one matters most, Kahneman gave a simple test that shows the trap. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 together. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much is the ball? Almost everyone System 1 shouts 10 cents, and almost everyone is wrong. The ball is 5 cents. The fast answer felt certain, and that certainty made it a trap. Top performers learn to notice when a moment calls for System 1 and when it secretly needs System 2. They feel the pull of the quick answer and pause just long enough to ask whether it's the right one. That single skill, knowing which gear the mind is in, is the foundation everything else is built on. But noticing the two systems isn't enough, because System 1 doesn't just move fast. It moves crooked. The mind is full of built-in errors called cognitive biases that fool almost everyone. Confirmation bias makes a person notice only the facts that agree with what they already believe. Picture someone who decides a coworker is lazy. After that, every late arrival proves the point, and every late night goes unseen. Anchoring makes the first number a person hears stick and drag every later guess toward it, even when that number was random. A store marks a code high, then slashes it, and the deal feels amazing only because of that first number. Then there's the sunk cost trap, where people keep pouring time and effort into something already failing, just because they've put so much in. These biases feel like good judgment from the inside. That's what makes them dangerous. A person can be completely confident and completely wrong at the same time. Kahneman spent his career showing that even experts fall for them, and knowing about a bias does not switch it off. The people who think clearly under stress aren't immune, they've just learned the names. They ask what evidence would prove them wrong, instead of only looking for evidence they're right. Once a bias has a name, it gets easier to spot. So if biases pull thinking off course, how do the sharpest minds steer straight? They use a toolbox. The investor Charlie Munger called it a latticework of mental models. A person shouldn't rely on just one way of thinking, because a single tool can only solve a single kind of problem. Instead, they collect many models from many fields: science, history, math, psychology. So a new problem offers many angles to try. Munger warned about the man with a hammer. To a person who owns only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. The lattice protects against that, letting a person match the right model to the real shape of a problem. One of Munger's favorite tools was inversion. Most people attack a problem by asking, "How do I succeed?" Inversion flips it. It asks, "How would I guarantee failure?" Then a person simply avoids those things. Want a strong team? Ask what would destroy one and don't do it. Ignore people, break promises, punish honesty, hire in a panic, list those, then refuse them. The answer often hides in the backwards version of the question. Another model is first principles thinking. Most people reason by analogy, doing something because it resembles what worked before. First principles thinkers refuse that comfort. They break a problem down to its most basic truths, then rebuild the answer from the ground up. Told a thing has always cost a certain amount, a first principles thinker ignores the price tag and asks what the thing is actually made of and what those raw parts truly cost. Suddenly, a wall everyone accepted turns out to be a habit, not a law. A problem impossible from one angle often looks simple from another. There's one more piece, and it explains how experts decide in seconds what takes a beginner an hour. Part of it is a habit called Bayesian updating. It means treating beliefs like guesses with a confidence level, and every time new evidence shows up, nudging that confidence up or down. They don't cling to being right, they update. Think of a doctor who believes a patient probably has one illness, then sees a test result that doesn't fit. A weak thinker explains the result away to protect the first guess. A Bayesian thinker lets the new fact shift the odds. The belief was always a bet, and baits change as the cards come down. Strong evidence should swing a belief a lot, and weak evidence should barely nudge it. Most people get this backwards, clinging hard when they should bend, then panicking when they should stay calm. Being wrong stops feeling like a defeat and starts feeling like information. But the deepest expert skill is something else. The researcher Gary Klein studied firefighters, nurses, and military commanders, people who make life or death calls under extreme pressure. He expected to find them carefully comparing options. Instead, they often saw the right move almost instantly, without weighing a list at all. Klein called this recognition-primed decision-making. After years of experience, the expert's mind has stored thousands of patterns, and a new situation quietly matches one. Klein found commanders who pulled their crews out seconds before a building failed, unable to say why, only that the room felt wrong. That wasn't a guess. It was years of fires speaking through a single feeling. Psychologists call this chunking. The mind can only juggle a few separate things at once, so the brain cheats. It bundles many small pieces into one larger piece that counts as a single item. A beginner sees 100 separate details and gets overwhelmed. An expert sees the same scene as a few familiar shapes, the way a chess master glances at a board and instantly knows it. Studies of chess players showed something striking. Masters could memorize a real game position in seconds, but when the pieces were scattered at random, that advantage vanished. They weren't remembering pieces, they were remembering patterns. So the expert isn't simply thinking faster. Their mind packed experience into patterns long before the pressure arrived.